Hi everyone, it's Janaea, and today I wanted to share a journal that I made for my mother-in-law for Mother's Day. Both my mom and my mother-in-law had their first Mother's Day without their moms here this year, so I just wanted to make something really special for both of them. And for both of them, I ended up being able to put a little piece of their parent into. For my mom, I had a lot of stuff, a lot of mementos from my grandma, and some of that I did use here too. But then for my mother-in-law, I also had some papers that were from her mother and father's 25th wedding anniversary. So you'll see those throughout. There were some names, so there are some post-it notes on those. They don't match, but they're only there to cover the names. And my mother-in-law loves everything about summer and being in the water, and she loves mermaids. So that is why I chose this sea/mermaid theme. And the papers that I used for the pattern papers and the cut-aparts are from Authentique Sea Maidens. And I will just start by, it's held together with a little vintage pillowcase scrap. And I just tied that there. And all of the ruffles are made from vintage pillowcases, as well as the fabric on the cover is a vintage pillowcase. And then on the spine, I have put, I think that this is a vintage, I can't remember the name of it. Not seam binding, but I can't remember the name. But then on top is some vintage lace seam binding. And the other laces here are just little bits and bobs that I had in my collection. I did a charm on this one again, and I really like the way this charm turned out. It kind of shouts like mystical sea to me, so I liked that. And I've added some laces, and on this little lace bow I added some jump rings, and I have a shell, and I thought this was perfect too. Like the little keys remind me of hidden treasure in the sea. So some keys there. And then I did add some beads on the like signature thread there. And on the mermaid, this is a cut apart. I distressed the edges. I stitched all around it. I put a couple pieces. This says Tranquility. And I use glossy accents on the word and on the parts of water on the bottom and the mermaid's body. Hopefully my camera picks it up. And then the bubbles, I put a few flat back pearls on a couple of those, and then I use stickles on them. And that is the front cover, and hopefully you can see it. And then I backed the fabric with 110-pound cardstock. Oh, and I did use a different stitch on my sewing machine. I thought that the stitch, well, it just reminded me of either mermaid scales or waves, so that's why I decided on that stitch there. And same with the fabric, it reminded me of water and waves. And then I have patterned paper on the inside, and I have also used patterned paper to make pockets on the front and back. This is actually part of one of the patterned papers, and I just tore around the mermaid because I thought it would be cute as a little cut apart. And on all of the cut aparts, I did distress both the front and the back since they're double-sided papers. And I like the way this one looks. And on all of the patterned paper as well, there are some ruffles. And then also just a piece of pillowcase to make it look nice and neat on the other side as well. And here, I love this cut apart. It says, if life starts getting you down, just remember to come up for air. So I wanted to add that one. I thought it was a really great quote. And this is one of my favorite patterned paper pieces from the collection. And all of those also have pockets on each side. And I've added some scraps from the collection in case she wants to do some journaling and use the scraps behind photographs. And this is a page from the 25th anniversary book I was talking about. And like I said, there'll be post-its that don't match, but they're just to cover up names. So when I give it to her, those won't be there. And I've just used a variety of other papers. And I have a couple of cards from the wedding anniversary, and they're a really fun texture. But I thought those would be nice to add in there for her. And I'll just kind of continue to flip through another page from her mom's wedding anniversary book. And I did flip outs on the pages because they were large enough to do so. And I thought it would be nice to have the entire page there. And then another card. And here's a cut apart. I love this mermaid, and I think she will too. And more scrap paper. And I love the images on some of these pages from the anniversary book. And I also have clips throughout. Some have some little just bits from my collection of lace or different trims. And there's some jute bows. And also some bows and just bits of vintage pillowcase as clips. Another flip out. And here's a guest check that I've distressed around the front and back of. And another cut apart. And the back of the card. Here's another cut apart. This one says mermaids are real. And I love this one too. I love the really vintage look that a lot of these have. Another part of the card. And there is, well, it's another page from the book. And so is this. This one says, mermaids are my spirit animal. And that is the last page. Then in this pocket, I have another cut apart that just says, I must be a mermaid. I have no fear of depth and a great fear of shallow living. So yeah, these journals have been so much fun to make. And it's fun to be able to incorporate special pieces for people, especially when it's someone you know is missing someone in their life. So it was nice to make something special for my mom and my mother-in-law. And I hope she likes this, and hopefully I get to bring this to her soon. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're all staying safe and well. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.